What's that in the distance? Looks like a giant ape is coming. Donkey? Crazy? King? And what are you supposed to be? I am Optimus Primal. And this is my faithful steed, Quasimodo, great terror of dogs. Take us to the Kong Banana Stash, or Quasi here's gonna ring your bells. Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here, and today we're taking a look at a major character from the Beast Wars era. This is Optimus Primal. Of course, this is the new one from the Kingdom line, and unlike many of my other reviews where I've compared originals to the modern versions, I never had any of the Beast Wars toys growing up. It was in 1992. I was in junior high, so I really wasn't much into toys at that point in my life. So I unfortunately don't have that, so this will be something completely different. We'll be going into this a little bit unprepared, but we'll do our best with this. For those who may not have been aware of this character, Optimus Primal was the leader of the Maximals, a group of Transformers that became beasts here on prehistoric Earth, and wound up eventually protecting the stasis-locked bodies of our Generation 1 heroes and villains, to prevent destruction of the timeline. Now, a few of you have paid more attention to the modern cartoons. You may recognize this figure from appearing in the last sections of the Prime Wars cartoon put out by Machinima, where Optimus Primal wound up becoming the savior of the Transformer species. In that version of the cartoon, Optimus here was voiced by legendary actor Ron Perlman. Yes, Hellboy himself voiced a Transformer. Hard to believe, isn't it? Actually, I liked Ron Perlman's take on Optimus Primal. Got the right voice for it. But at any rate, this is the new version that we have, the latest version of Optimus Primal. It is an interesting one, to say the least. Since, again, I never had the original, so I don't have anything really to compare it to. But I do like how it is done up. I'm sure some of the Beast Wars fans may find some gripe with it, but they're okay to do that, and I do hope that they'll sound off their thoughts in the comments down below. Like I said, I wasn't into Beast Wars since at the time I was growing up. But I have no ill will or anything against it. So please don't slam the comments with hate mail. Because if I totally hated it, I wouldn't even be reviewing this toy. So, alright, let's get started by taking a look at his accessories. As you can see, Optimus here includes 2 swords. They are both exactly the same. I do like the nice detail on them. The curved blade is nice. It gives it a more primitive touch, which I do like. Now, according to the Transformers Wikia, and I do not know if this is 100% accurate or if this is just internet rumors, but apparently there is a variant to the blades. As you can see here, mine are colored in silver. There are rumors, apparently, that there are some that are in white. And right now, not enough samples have been obtained to know which one is the more common release and which one is the more rare release. At least at the time of the recording of this video. Hopefully, somebody will comment on it later. But if you have this toy, shout out in the comments. Did you get gray blades or white blades with your toy? Now, of course, while they have him carrying the swords, there are some small holes here along his back where you can plug the swords in. Just exactly like that. And Optimus Primal can carry his weapons on his backside, should you choose to go that route. And of course, the instructions also show another optional weapon. Here on his forearm, you do have pop-out guns. Basically, there's a button on the bottom side of the forearm. You would just press it in a bit, as best as your fingers can do, and then you can just come around and pull it out the rest of the way with your fingers. And of course, the cannon is on a slight hinge, so you can raise it upwards like that. So it'll give Optimus a very good range of fire with those weapons. And let's get the swords out of the way. And we will take a look at Optimus's articulation. And for a figure of his size, he does have quite an amount of articulation going for him. You can turn his head from left to right relatively easily. And the head is on a ball joint, so it will look up and down a bit. The shoulder cannons here are on a slight hinge, so they will rotate. They'll go about that far back, and they will go forward enough to rest on his shoulders. The arms can be raised out about so far. And his arms do rotate all the way at the shoulders. He does have a joint at his elbow. It allows you to move the arm all the way up against his, almost against his shoulder. So you have, well, it might be about 175 to 178 degree almost 90 degree articulation, I should say. You know, can't go all the way around with it, but you get the idea. It does raise up quite a bit like that. And he does have rotation in the bicep. So he has some G.I. Joe battle grip. And he's even got some articulation in his hands. You can open his fingers up. Unfortunately, you can't do individual fingers. You have to do all four at once. So Optimus cannot flip anybody the bird. He does have a joint at his hip, so Optimus can do the twist. As you can see, you can spread his legs apart into almost a full splits. You can raise his leg up at the hip 90 degrees. He can also bend at the knee another 90 degrees. There is a bit of a twist at his ankle. And of course you do get some toe articulation, mainly for transforming him, but as you can see there, the little pneumatic mechanism moves along with it. So that's a nice touch. That adds a nice touch to the toy, if you ask me. Now let's transform Optimus. And of course, to do that, you have to remove the swords, and of course the forearm guns should be in the down position. Once you've done that, they kind of want you to straighten the legs, so the legs are straight like that. Then you're going to fold down the shoulder armor onto the arms. And we're going to turn him around, and you're going to raise up this panel here at the butt. And then after you've done that, we will pop free the back section. We have to lower the butt plate a little bit to get it all the way out, like so. Once you've done that, you're going to turn him around briefly so you can rotate his chest plate so that it conceals the robot parts. And it looks more like a monkey. Then we turn it back around. You're going to grab this section that the head is attached to, and you're going to pull it straight up so that it raises the head section out. While the head section's out of the way, we will fold in the shoulder cannons. A lot of the artwork does show the shoulder cannons out, so you can leave them out if you do choose to. But to do an accurate transformation, we've got to have them in. Then once you've done that, you're going to rotate the piece that has the head on. And then you will raise up the gorilla head like so. And then, of course, once it's up, you will rotate it around on its special piece so that the head is upside down. And then you can slide this piece back down into the chest. Or back at this point. Then you will fold it back up, and it should, if everything's back into position properly, it should close up. You may have to make minor adjustments to get it to close up. Then you're going to twist him at the hip all the way around so that you got most of the robot kibble on the backside. And of course, we turn him around here to his backside. You pop this piece free on the back plate. We're going to extend it outward like so, because you're going to rotate it like that. And then it folds down over his backside. And then we will fold up the robot feet. Remembering to keep the monkey feet down. Then, of course, we will turn him around. And then adjust things at the knees. His knees are double jointed here. Bring the arms down and give them a slight rotation at the elbow. And then there you have it. Gorilla mode. Or at least he's posed in the way that most people would see gorillas moving about. For those of us who have been to the zoo lately, I know that's been difficult during this pandemic. But of course, it also doesn't take much effort as well. The instructions show you a detailed way to do this, but as you're seeing, it's really not that difficult. That you can also stand him upright, if that's the way you would prefer to display Optimus. And of course, in gorilla mode, he does have a fair amount of articulation going for him. The head can turn from side to side, not very much, but it can. And you can raise the head up to look upwards. Unfortunately, it cannot look downward. The arms go out to about here, and they can be rotated at the shoulder all the way. Bend the arms at the elbow. You do have articulation at the wrist, which I failed to mention in the robot mode. And of course, again, you have the opening hands. The monkey can do the twist once you move the butt plate a little bit. And of course, you've got double jointed knees that allow him to move up like that, and you can even manipulate the toes. So you get quite the range of motion with Optimus Primal here. This is very, very impressive, if you ask me. And of course, if you're watching this channel, you technically are. And of course, you do have access to those storage holes, so you can, if you wish, store the swords on the gorilla's back. Which, while it does look somewhat on the silly side, I know I certainly would not mess with a gorilla carrying a pair of swords on his back. But all in all, it isn't too bad. And yes, for those of you that are probably curious, he can be positioned in a way for a gorilla to beat on his chest. Looks just as silly in that way, too. But anyway, we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of Optimus Primal? Strangely enough, I am drawn very well to this toy. At first, I didn't think I was going to be all that thrilled with the Beast Wars characters. I barely knew who many of them were, mainly just due to the fact I was ignorant of them at that time, due to the usual angst of growing up. But now that I've gotten my hands on an actual toy for it, I do find myself intrigued by this. This one is a very well done toy of a very popular character, I might add. And it does look pretty good. It's not perfect, since, like you can see here, with the way the arms are positioned like that, you can still somewhat see the robot kibble underneath, so that's not the best, but as you can see there, slight adjustment and it's easily fixed. So while he's not perfect, it is still a very good toy. And definitely, if you are a fan of the Beast Wars era, I would definitely recommend that this one be one of them you seek out for your collection, as it is a very, very good toy. The biggest thing that may scare you off is the price point. Since being a Voyager class, he is going to be a $30 toy. But I think it's one that if you are a Beast Wars fan, it's definitely worth the investment. And that concludes my review of the Kingdom version of Optimus Primal. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you like the video, please leave me a thumbs up here on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button down below and join our ranks. Make sure you ring the bell so you'll get notified when we post videos this month, because we're going all over with as many Kingdom toys as possible. I also ask that you share this video with your friends and fellow collectors. That's what helps this channel grow. And share your thoughts about Optimus Primal in the comments down below. This is Sparkster1701 saying that Optimus and I are going to go play us some Donkey Kong Country. So I'll catch you all later.